You're listening to 1069 Click FM, live in color.
I was really looking forward to this being an easy week for this show. I mean, all I was planning to do was talk about how the CFL season has gone so far, because this is the first time that I've truly followed one from the beginning, but no. The rest of the sports world had to get busy and interesting, and so I gotta go over it today and give what fractured thoughts I have. So far, I see William and Logan in chat. Anybody else who might be out there just hanging around? Hi, I'm Jim B here on 1069 Click FM. This is Ass Talk, a sports-centric little time where try to set aside the noxious clouds of sports prognostication in order to find a few little nuggets of truth. And yes, the opening ceremony is close to concluding after the torch was passed from person after person, all of which was raged about by a certain political party in our country. Won't name names. But the only thing that really caught my eye from the Olympics was actually about the Canadian soccer team. And, well, it started with as the story put it, a non-accredited member of Team Canada being caught filming the New Zealand women's soccer team practice with a drone. Then on Wednesday, an assistant coach, Jasmine Mander, and a Canada soccer analyst named Joseph Lombardi were sent home from the Olympics after 2 accusations of spying made by the New Zealand team. Then right after that, the head coach of the women's team just went back home, said, you know what, everything that's going on, it's better for me not to be here right now. And she took no culpability or blame for anything that had happened, but just like, it isn't right for me to be here right now, and then fucked off back to Canada. And then Thursday evening, Rick Westhead, who works for TSN, reported both the Canadian men's and women's national team were, quote, have been engaged for years in efforts to film the closed-door training sessions of their opponents. This goes back to 2021 Olympics. They've been looking this far. And that accusation came directly against the host nation, Japan. And FIFA is also investigating for whatever good that will do. I'm not going to say that we directly blame this on the coach, Bev Priestman, but the way the article framed it, noting at the end that she had become the coach in October 2020, and that the investigation doesn't go further back than then. I'm not saying there isn't somebody else in the org that was pushing for this to happen, but it's just the way that they have put it together in the story. You know, I thought the Olympics really need to sit down and rethink things when we got that bomb that went off in Atlanta in 1996. I guess, well, Snoop Dogg got to carry the torch, so that's all that really matters. All right. Meanwhile, we are at July 26th. July 26th, and still Garrett Crochet is listed as a Chicago White Sox player. And until July 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern, which, wait a minute, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Still have many, many days of speculation to go. Last story that I read on ESPN, which went up when was this? Yeah, yesterday afternoon, saying Garrett Crochet wants a contract extension if he goes to a team in the postseason. He wants to stay a starter and not get shoved into bullpen duty because of health concerns. I'm unsure of, well, the two biggest competitors are listed as the Dodgers and the Orioles. The Yankees apparently have pulled out, but they have money, so I could definitely see them making an effort at the last minute. I was just wondering if nobody's been able to put up a couple of players along with a contract and how long it'll take to do it. Otherwise, the Southside swap meet is still ongoing, and maybe we'll get rid of all the other players before we get rid of Garrett Crochet first. It would be kind of funny in a way if we ended up holding on to him through the playoffs and he didn't get to do a damn thing. Also, apologies to everyone. I'm sorry to inform you. The Houston Astros are back in the lead in the American League West. They only lead the Mariners by 1 game, but an ongoing long slide by the Mariners has finally dropped them to 1 game back, only a game and a half ahead of the Texas Rangers in the division. Meanwhile, Orioles are making moves. Let's see who ended up with Zach Eflin. July 26th. Orioles are acquiring right-handed starter Zach Eflin from the Tampa Bay Rays. Oh, the Rays are selling. All right. Tampa Bay will receive 3 minor leaguers in return from one of the top starters available. And this was first reported in The Athletic. All right. Looks like it has begun. The pitching musical chairs going around the stadium. And now let's see which one of them actually makes it to the playoffs. Other than that, the status quo seems to be holding in the rest of the Major League Baseball. The O's are somehow up 2 games on the Yankees in the AL East. Cleveland having an okay lead against the Twins right now, 4.5 games back. But they're way ahead of the Chicago White Sox, by the way, who have lost 11 in a row and are only 22 losses away from a 100-loss season. So let's keep our enthusiasm up. We can cheer them over the finish line. I am surprised to see that now the Philadelphia Phillies have taken the top record in the majors, currently sitting at 64-38, leading the NL East by, 9.5 games over the Braves, who, let's be honest, have been a little shaky lately. Brewers still holding sway in the NL Central. Let's see how they do when the playoffs come. Unless something goes tragically wrong for them at this point, I can't really see the Brewers ceding the race to anybody else in the NL Central. Meanwhile, Dodgers are able to buy their way out of every problem, so we don't have to worry about them. Whatever. Now, I ended up spending much more of this day than I should have looking up information about the Athletics stadium deal. Because I had read a couple of days ago that, for as many promises as they've made about the money and the $380 million in public funding that they have supposedly secured, they don't get to touch that $380 million until they put up $100 million of their own bucks. So it's not done yet. They're just having to put together that arrangement plus non-relocation and lease and other stuff. Soon, True North. Soon. But I think the thing that surprised me, and this was buried in a couple of articles, that the executive Sandy Dean, talking to the Las Vegas Stadium Authority, said that they plan to spend $350 million of that and also finance $300 million of the stadium cost, but no lenders have been secured. They have not figured out where they're going to build it, any plans for how they're supposedly going to share space with the new resort that Bailey Corp wants to build. Those are the people who currently own the 35-acre side of land where this new athletics stadium is going to go. And to make things even weirder, Corp just got bought out. They were acquired, they merged with a damage total of $4.6 billion to a hedge fund named Standard General LP, managed by a man named Soo Kim, who also happens to be the company chairman of Corp at the moment. And with every little twist that comes along in this story, I get more and more nervous about what the hell is going on. How much planning and overrun is going to be attempt to be shoved into 6 months if they really want this deal to come through. And it is moments like this that I wish that a Vegas resident could give me a on the ground view of how locals are reacting to it. A lot of this information I'm getting is from the Las Vegas Review Journal, by the way, which has been doing a very good job of keeping it up and rather nobly towing the line on neutrality, not trying to portray one side as better than the other very much. So if you want to look into it more, I recommend it on your time, but it is so twisty and turny, and there are so many people becoming involved on all sides of it that may have been part of why I ended up with a severe headache at the end of my research period today. But I just have a feeling that the Athletics are going to be stuck in Sacramento for a good while longer than they intend. I know it's only supposed to be for 2 years. They're planning to open the stadium in 2028. But right now, this kind of feels like the same talk that was going through Virginia when Glenn Youngkin was trying to get Ted Leonsis to cross over the river and build a new stadium in Virginia. So, in other words, keep a candle lit for the players of the Oakland Athletics. But if anything is going to sink this effort to move the team, it's going to be a local base that is willing to accept all these little different fingers that are going to be climbing into the state coffers. And considering how organizations like hedge fund usually specialize in not spending any of their own money, but, loading things up with debt and getting other people to put up the cash, rug pull is too far. I just have a feeling that stadium wouldn't last much longer in the Vegas desert. Now, the big one and the thing that has been looming in the back of my mind ever since it started. Move them to Arizona and rename them the Coyotes. No. Gary wants a lot of things. Gary's not going to get everything he wants, unfortunately. However, Gary did get something that he wanted, because in his mind, this man has truly redeemed himself and knows he did wrong. And so, the Edmonton Oilers hire Stan Bowman as their new general manager. Now, there are a couple of things that stood out to me. And one, the conference where Bowman was introduced, the only person who is out there, at least for the clips that I could find on the Edmonton Oilers YouTube channel, to talk with him and sort of, I guess, absorb questions that might be a little bit dangerous was, hockey CEO, the CEO of hockey operations for the Edmonton Oilers, a guy named Jeff Jackson, who had been recently hired by the team as the CEO of hockey operations after being an agent for Connor McDavid for more than a month. And yes, I may be assuming it's stereotyping when I say this, but my basic ass understanding of how an agent works is trying to get everybody to agree to what your client wants, but making everybody feel like they are special and getting exactly what they want in the details. In other words, a high-octane bullshitter. Now, I don't know how much you can smell coming off of these quotes, which I gathered from not only ESPN but also Hockey News, regarding Stan Bowman from Jeff Jackson. I believe his vast experience and proven success in this role, together with the important work he has done in his time away from the game, fits our goal of being best in class when it comes to all facets of our organization. Through our many conversations, we share a common vision of where we are as a team and what is required to achieve another Stanley Cup title. I mean, one rebuttal that I guess you could bring in is saying that Bowman didn't actually build the team. He just inherited it from the previous manager and then made awful trade after awful trade as his tenure went on. But Jackson apparently thought it was enough. He also said he didn't consult the players on the decision to bring Bowman in, saying that players are consulted about travel schedules and other day-to-day aspects of their job rather than having a say in the hiring of coaches or GMs. That's not what they want. They don't want to do that. Yeah, that has been, for the most part, the reaction that I have seen. He is not worth the baggage. He hasn't built anything. He's just kind of coasted on things that other people have put together. Part of my brain keeps wanting to bring up Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, but it seems like a hopeless comparison, to be honest. After all, there were people defending the hiring in the comments. Too many people. And I had a smart-ass joke that I was going to make into a short at one point about how the Oilers had put in an agreement with the OVO label to have an opening day concert on opening day with Baka Not Nice and Party Next Door and everybody else from the OVO label, and Drake if he's available. But Drake doesn't need it. He's still got all his money. He's still got his fans, his big, very loyal fans. The Raptors practice center is still called the OVO Athletic Center. Has the owl on the outside and everything. The owl that has been memed and beat up and trashed in video after animation throughout the different corners of the internet. And I couldn't find any mention of anybody putting pressure on MLSE to disassociate themselves from OVO in that direction. So Jeff Jackson really is right, isn't he? The fans can have their opinions. They can think what they want. It is not going to make a damn bit of difference. Even with every comment after comment about how we shouldn't support the team anymore. You shouldn't give them any more of your money. Don't buy jerseys. Don't buy tickets. People are going to. Most of the people who swore that they were never going to watch the NFL again after it became too woke, they watch it anyway. They just don't talk about it. They just still discuss it grumpily. And the mental backflips will commence. People will find their reasons to, cheer for Connor McDavid. He's had to battle for so long and carry this team on his back. Now he finally has some help. And, this group of players have been playing together and struggling for so long. For some of us, it's just not enough. And I have to think about it in terms of the casual fans, which, when I'm not watching the teams that I don't specifically root for, I become a casual fan. I don't know every single in and out of every team. That takes too much time. I'm usually reacting to what's going on in front of me, how the game presents itself right then and there. But then stuff like this breaks containment. Word gets out. Hell, the Blackhawks were beloved for their string of Stanley Cup victories, and then once the Kyle Beach, Brad Aldridge shit came out, the whole thing was tainted. And for people who are casual fans, who are looking to get into the sport, when they find the high line, we hired a manager who oversaw and partially enabled sexual assault on his watch. No matter how many conferences or workshops that he's gone to where he's learned what he's supposed to look out for, he's supposed to say, what he's supposed to do, whose side he's supposed to take. The thing is, I don't think I want to give him a credit for it. I don't think such transformation in a person's life can occur within 3 years. Not unless they've lost much more than in it. Like if he had been gone for 10 years, if he had spent his time, working in some kind of local nonprofit wherever he lived, try to keep his head out of the papers, and not hiring whatever wonderful press agent convinced him to do interviews with, Hockey Junkie podcast. Yeah, I know we make our own choices. I just hate the fact that only 3 years after he got banned from holding any jobs in the NHL, he's back like nothing happened. And yeah, Logan, people calling University of Georgia felon U. There are huge problems within the NCAA athlete system where they get protected for their bad behavior and occasionally diss track worthy shenanigans that they get up to. And even trying to make a call for behavior to be better policed or better teaching to be done, it will all get waved away with, they're just excitable boys. Why would you want to ruin his life, put this new pressure on him? He's worked so hard. He's worked so hard to... Oh, how does it go? Vast experience and proven success, together with the important work he has done in his time away from the game. They cannot even get specific about what important work he's done. And he wouldn't be specific about it either. Excitable boy, they all said. Excitable boy. He's just an excitable boy. Oh boy. Now, keep in mind, kids, when you're filling out your college applications this fall, maybe reconsider Felon University. You don't want to be somebody's practice time on how to deal with aggressive local media. Not recommended. All right, so I've said all I wanted to say. We got it done in 25 minutes. Thank goodness. Now I don't have to get this done before the CFL game tomorrow night. That's right. We are finished as talk, and we will be back tomorrow for Toronto Argonauts versus Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And Celine Dion, glad she's living her best life. Thank you for tuning in. Get back to your Friday. I'll see you tomorrow. This is Jim B on 106.9 Click FM. Thank you for tuning in. And good night, Milwaukee, wherever you are.